Welcome back to CIA Declassified, the broadcast dedicated to dissecting the classified documents that reveal how intelligence agencies seek to exploit the most intimate and vulnerable systems known, the biological and electrical architecture of the human body. Today, we move beyond conventional electromagnetism and into the realm of psychotronics, a term used in these documents to describe the intersection of directed energy and biological systems. We address the chilling fact that U.S. intelligence explored the possibility of using highly focused energy pulses to remotely induce debilitating neurological and psychological states in targeted individuals. We are analyzing the CIA's involvement in directed energy psychotronics and biofield manipulation, treating the nervous system as a complex circuit that can be short-circuited or overloaded from a distance. Our primary evidence is CIA file CIA-RDP81-00171R00020006-5. This report is titled, and I quote, Psycho-Kinetic Energy and Strategic Biofield Interface. End quote. It confirms that specialized biophysics and neuroengineering resources were tasked with evaluating the possibility of generating and projecting specific electromagnetic or acoustic frequencies designed to resonate with and thus disrupt the neural activity of a targeted brain region. The context here is non-lethal high-stakes tactical advantage if an adversary's command team, pilot, or critical asset can be instantly incapacitated, stricken by blinding vertigo, paralyzing muscle spasms, or severe mental confusion without visible injury. The strategic objective is achieved with absolute deniability. The file's existence confirms that the precise electrical frequency of the human brain was viewed as a strategic vulnerability ripe for exploitation. The analysis focuses primarily on two specific things: cerebellar resonance targeting for incapacitation and non-traceable emission signatures for operational masking. Let's drill down into the rigorous and deeply disturbing theoretical methodology documented in this file. The analysts demanded a path to interface with the body's internal control systems remotely. The file required an intense focus on resonant frequency targeting. The human brain and nervous system operate using electrical pulses at specific measurable frequencies. The research centered on identifying the resonant frequency of key controller centers such as the cerebellum, responsible for motor control and balance, or the vestibular system, responsible for spatial orientation. The theory proposed generating an external energy beam, likely highly directional, pulsed microwaves or very low frequency acoustic waves tuned precisely to the target area's operating frequency. The pulsed energy would act as an intrusive signal, overwhelming the natural rhythm of the neurons and instantly inducing severe symptoms like overwhelming dizziness, nausea, and the loss of fine motor control. The key challenge was achieving precise focus. The document outlines methods for ensuring the energy beam is narrow enough to affect a single individual or a small area without causing widespread collateral damage. This involved advanced phased array emitter designs and real-time tracking systems to maintain focus on a moving target. The document includes conceptual specifications for establishing incapacitation rate benchmarks, the measurable success rate for rendering a subject non-functional within a specific time frame, e.g. inducing incapacitating vertigo within 5 seconds of exposure, while maintaining the non-lethal constraint. Crucially, the file dedicated an entire section to emission masking and deniability. For this weapon to be strategically viable, the symptoms it produced had to appear entirely natural. A stroke, a sudden seizure, or a spontaneous onset of extreme motion sickness. The agency's research focused on using energy frequencies that would leave no discernible signature upon the subject, ensuring the event was attributed to a sudden debilitating neurological event. We must now examine the primary finding, the agency's assessment of the concept's potential for strategic control. This is a critical excerpt regarding the confirmation of viability. Quote, feasibility studies confirm that resonant electromagnetic injection tailored to the frequency range of redacted neural pathways provides a potent, non-conventional means of remote incapacitation capable of achieving systemic functional shutdown without visible external trauma. End quote. And another quote from a section discussing field application, quote, a covertly deployed psychokinetic emitter can achieve absolute immediate strategic denial of access to a target area or asset by rendering adversarial personnel physiologically incapable of action, end quote. This is the true meaning of the file. It states that the human body's own electrical signals are its vulnerability. The agency saw an opportunity to utilize the body's natural frequencies as a tactical exploit. The focus shifted from how do we physically restrain the enemy to how do we make the enemy restrain themselves by collapsing their nervous system. We now address the chilling operational implications of this file, the deployment of directed energy psychotronics and strategic maneuvering. The most extensive redactions occur in the section titled Long-Term Neuropathology and Acoustic versus Electromagnetic Delivery Trade-offs. This suggests detailed discussions around the severe neurological damage that prolonged or repeated exposure could inflict, e.g., permanent balance disorders or cognitive decline, and the highly technical comparison of two delivery methods, infrasound, ultrasound versus microwaves based on range, focus, and deniability. Why redact long-term neuropathology? Because this section likely documents the internal acknowledgement that while the weapon is designed to be non-lethal, its effects could be permanent and irreversible, raising massive ethical red flags. The concept discussed is the creation of a remote incapacitation grid. The system allows a nation to neutralize a critical facility or military convoy simply by bathing the area in the precisely tuned incapacitating frequency. The file details the requirement for complex energy generation and targeting hardware, which would likely be concealed in large specialized vehicles or disguised in civilian infrastructure near the target zone. The strategic weaponization of this research is clear. It is a biodominance weapon that fundamentally changes the nature of non-lethal conflict. A state possessing this capability gains the ability to field a weapon that turns the adversary's own biology against them without leaving physical evidence. We conclude our analysis of this file. The existence and scope of the research confirm that U.S. intelligence treated the direct remote manipulation of the human nervous system as an actionable, high-priority strategic objective. The implication is that the analysis moved into the sphere of applied neurological warfare, seeking to exploit the mechanisms of human electrical signaling for the sake of perpetual intelligence advantage. This research represents the ultimate weaponization of human biology. If this documented truth has opened your mind to the technological boundaries explored by those in power, we require your continued support. First, like this episode and leave us a detailed 5-star review wherever you listen. This is how the analysis exposes the deeper scientific agendas. Second, share this episode with someone obsessed with neurobiology, directed energy weapons, or non-lethal incapacitation. We need more sharp minds analyzing these documented facts. Next, we move from the external control of the human body to the ultimate internal control through chemical modification. We will analyze the CIA's classified research into synthetic biological pathogens and targeted genetic modification. The agency's attempt to investigate the theoretical and engineering feasibility of creating highly specific synthesized viruses capable of inducing temporary reversible genetic or neurological effects in targeted populations such as mass memory disruption or temporary fertility impairment. For this next episode, we're going to analyze CIA document RDP84-010-04R-00001-0002-0007-9, a horrifying file concerning strategic bioengineering and reversible genomic intervention. What were the core principles investigated for engineering a synthetic virus that could be programmed with a delayed reversible effect? How did the analysts plan to leverage this technology for achieving untraceable demographic or cognitive control in an adversarial region? And what does this reveal about the terrifying strategic goal of turning genetic engineering into mass-scale non-lethal weapons? Tune in for the next episode, Synthetic Pathogens and Targeted Genetic Modification. Until then, remember, maintain your vigilance, question the energy around you, and keep your critical thinking sharp. I'll see you in the archives.